Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're unpacking a really intense story. Think true crime, but instead of just police reports, our sources paint this picture of, well, a whole system falling apart in a Mexican port city.
Yeah, it's grim stuff. We're zeroing in on Paracuán, Tamaulipas, and specifically two cases that are tangled together even though they're decades apart.
Okay, so what are the cases?
First, there's the recent murder of Bernardo Blanco. He was a young journalist, pretty ambitious. And then there's the story he was actually digging into, a really notorious serial killer case from way back in 1978. They called the killer the Jackal.
Wow. Okay, so a modern murder linked to a cold case, and our sources lay it all out.
Exactly. It's like this incredibly complex narrative we've pieced together. We've got this huge cast of characters, corrupt cops, a few good ones trying to swim against the tide, cartel guys, even this legendary investigator who gets pulled in.
And the mission today
is basically to untangle it, figure out who's who, how these murders connect, and just how deep the rot goes. Because, spoiler alert, it goes deep.
Right. Sounds like a lot to cover. Where should we start? Maybe with the recent victim, Bernardo Blanco.
Yeah, let's start there, Blanco. He's interesting because he wasn't just parachute journalism. He actually left a job at the San Antonio Herald, moved to Paracuán, wanted to write about the city's history.
And he ends up dead on Kaipama.
Found dead there, yeah. And right from the get-go, you see the system is, well, it's compromised.
How so? In the initial response.
Totally. The agent who gets the case is Ramón Cabrera, nicknamed El Macetón, the big flower pot. Apparently, his boss, Chief Joaquin Taboada, they call him El Travolta, basically dumps the case on him, reluctantly.
El Travolta. Okay, so we've got a reluctant cop, Cabrera, and his boss, Taboada, who doesn't seem too keen.
Right. And it gets worse. We find out Blanco was targeted before he was killed, like the moment he arrived in Paracuán.
Targeted how?
By the judicial police. This crew, led by a guy named Cruz Trevino, memorable description, walrus mustache, wears black clothes, even in the heat. They didn't just, hassle him.
Hey, what did they do?
They stole his sunglasses, planted a joint on him, shook him down for 1,000 pesos, like a welcome gift from the Paracuán authorities.
Jeez. That's not subtle. That's sending a message, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's about showing him who runs things.
Yeah.
And it feels systemic, not just random.
Okay, so back to the crime scene. Cabrera, the reluctant agent, he gets there.
And he immediately smells a rat. The scene at 10 Kaipama, it suggests Blanco was killed inside, then dragged out. But that's not what the official story says.
Contradicting the report already.
Yeah, and even the chalk outline of the body. It's sloppy, careless, like they either messed it up badly or more likely they just didn't care because they figured no one would question it.
And we know Blanco wasn't just reading some tourist guide. He was digging into something specific, right?
Definitely. A local priest, Father Fitzchance, confirms it. Blanco was researching the city's history, specifically the 1970s. And he'd been getting death threats.
The 70s, that connects to the Jackal case, doesn't it?
Bingo. He was digging right where they didn't want him to. And there's a link, a really chilling one, between that initial harassment by Trevino's cops and, well, the bigger players.
How's that?
Later, Cabrera confiscates a gun. It belongs to the son of a guy named Obregon, a.k.a. El Cochiloco, known cartel figure. The gun even has initials, CO.
So the cops hassling Blanco are linked through this gun to the cartels.
Exactly. It suggests the police harassment wasn't random. It was connected to organized crime, likely because Blanco was getting too close to this old, dangerous secret they were all protecting.
Which brings us squarely to that secret, the Jackal Motors, 1978. What happened back then?
Okay, so picture Paracuán in the late 70s. There's an oil boom, money flooding in, people arriving, and then bam, horror strikes.
Murders.
4 young girls, Lucia Hernandez Campillo, Carla Ceballos, Julia Concepcion Gonzalez, Inés Gomez Lobato, found murdered one after the other. The city was terrified and furious.
I can imagine. Huge public pressure.
Massive. And not just the public. The National Professors Union, which was really powerful, got involved. They demanded answers, demanded action now.
Which led to?
A rushed arrest, according to the sources. They grabbed this guy, René Luz de Dios Lopez. He confessed, apparently, but the whole trial was shaky. Lots of irregularities.
In Blanco's theory, the reason he was likely killed
was that René Luz was a fall guy.
Yeah.
A scapegoat. Arrested just to calm everyone down, especially the union. Blanco believed powerful people were involved in setting him up.
How did he know? Or suspect?
Well, the most chilling part, even after René Luz was arrested and supposedly confessed, more bodies of young girls started showing up. Further north, but still.
Oh my God, so the real Jackal was still out there.
Still active, which means the authorities knew they had the wrong guy, or at least should have known, but they let the lie stand.
Why?
Themselves.
Yeah.
The system, maybe specific powerful figures. Blanco was trying to uncover that original sin, that moment the institution chose the cover-up over justice. And that decision just festered for decades.
And created the corrupt present day he walked into. Let's talk about that present-day police force. Chief Taboada, Travolta. His connection.
It's direct. Turns out, his big break, his promotion years ago, he got it by taking credit for catching the Jackal. The wrong Jackal.
So his entire position rests on maintaining that lie from 1978.
You got it. He cannot let the truth come out. He and his main guy, Rufino Chavez, they call him El Chaneque, the Goblin, they represent the totally compromised faction. They're in deep.
But you mentioned there were good cops, too.
Yeah, there's a counterpoint. Detective Vicente Rangel Gonzalez, former musician, actually. His uncle was a respected detective back in the day. Rangel's trying to do the right thing. He's looking into Blanco's murder and trying to reopen the Jackal case.
That sounds incredibly dangerous for him.
It is. And the sources give us this vivid detail. Rangel gets these stress and his hands start bleeding when the pressure is really hot.
Seriously, bleeding hands.
Yeah. It's almost symbolic, right? The physical cost of trying to stay clean in that environment. It's literally wounding him.
And it's not just internal opposition he faces.
No, he's also battling this sensationalist crime reporter, Johnny Guerrero. Guerrero's always slamming the police, leaking stuff. Maybe he's working for the opposition mayor, trying to stir things up politically. It's just chaos.
So pressure mounting, Rangel bleeding, Taboada stonewalling. What happens?
Eventually, the pressure from the mayor, the public, the union again, it gets too much. The powers that be realize they've lost control of the narrative. They have to bring in an outsider.
An expert.
The expert, Dr. Alfonso Quiroz Cuarón.
That sounds familiar.
He's legendary. They called him the Mexican Sherlock Holmes. He solved huge cases, like identifying Trotsky's killer. Bringing him in is a massive deal.
But the corrupt officials wouldn't have wanted him there, surely.
Well, they hated it. It was totally reluctant. They had to do it for political appearances, but they knew Quiroz Cuarón played by his own rules. Science, criminology, not politics.
So Sherlock Holmes arrives in Paracuán. Does he cut through the bowl quickly?
Like a hot knife through butter. He ignores all the political noise, uses his criminal equation, his profiling method. He figures the Jackal is likely a solitary type, sexually frustrated, immediately dismisses the scapegoat theory.
And what does he make of Detective Rangel, the bleeding hands guy?
He sees Rangel's potential, recognizes the dedication, the honesty. Even though Rangel has this kind of shady informant working with him, this guy Romero El Ciego, the blind man, Quiroz is impressed by Rangel himself.
Okay, so Quiroz is applying science. Rangel is pushing from within. This is where it comes together. They find the real killer.
Yes, and Quiroz gets there fast. He identifies the Jackal.
Who is it?
A man named Clemente Morales.
Okay, and the significance.
Clemente Morales is the brother of Edelmiro Morales.
Edelmiro. Wait, the head of the professors' union, the same union that demanded the arrest back in '78.
The very same. The head of the powerful union that pressured the police into the first cover-up. His brother is the actual serial killer.
Oh, wow. That's explosive. What was the motive for Clemente?
It was personal and tragic. Clemente apparently suffered from schizophrenia. He started killing out of revenge, Quiroz figures, after being rejected by the mother of one of the victims, Mrs. Hernandez.
So the moment Quiroz puts that together...
He hasn't just solved the murders. He's exposed the entire cover-up, decades of it, involving the governor, the union boss Edelmiro, the Federal Safety Administration. The whole rotten structure is built on protecting the Morales family.
And you don't expose something like that without consequences.
No way. The system fights back. Immediately.
Ha.
Quiroz Cuarón, while he's staying at his hotel, he's targeted. Drugged or poisoned, it's not entirely clear which. He gets violently ill.
They tried to kill him.
Seems like it. Or at least silence him. And this happens right after the government tries to strong-arm him politically. They wanted him to sign some statement backing the president on a completely unrelated, sensitive political issue, the October 2nd massacre stuff.
Let me get this straight. They basically said, help us with our other political cover-up, and maybe we'll let you solve these child murders.
That's the implication. It's utterly cynical. And Quiroz refused point blank.
What did he do after the poisoning attempt?
He fled, got out of Paracuán back to Mexico City, and then he went public, broke ties with the government over their refusal to pursue the truth and their political demands. He chose integrity over complicity, even at great personal risk.
His escape basically proves how dangerous knowing the truth is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just theoretical danger. While all this is happening with Quiroz, Rangel's investigation suffers a blow too. His ally, the checkpoint guard, Luis Calatrava, the wizard,
Yeah.
assassinated, shot in the neck while he was looking into things for Rangel. A clear message. Back off.
But Rangel doesn't back off.
He doesn't. Despite his friend being murdered, despite the pressure, he has a breakthrough. He figures out the Jackal signature.
What was it?
The killer covered the victims' bodies with strips of fabric. Rangel realizes it's school uniform material.
Mm-hmm.
And when you piece the strips together, they form 3 block letters. The killer's initials. CM Clemente Morales.
Yeah.
That, plus he gets a confession from Mrs. Hernandez about Clemente's rejection. It leads him straight to the guy.
So Rangel gets him, arrests Clemente Morales.
Yes, he does it. Clemente confesses to the 1978 murders. Rangel even arrests the guy who killed Calatrava. It looks like, finally, justice for about 5 minutes.
Why?
This is the part that just sums up everything.
Rangel gets Morales locked up at 3:00 p.m. At 3:05 p.m., Federal Safety Administration agents show up, led by Chief Taboada, El Travolta.
No.
And they release Clemente Morales. Just let him walk free.
5 minutes from arrest to release for a confessed serial killer.
5 black minutes, they call it. That's all it took for the system, for the power of Elmiro Morales and the union and whoever else was involved to completely override the law, the evidence, the confession, everything.
So Rangel risked everything. Calatrava died for nothing. Effectively, yes. The institutional protection was absolute. Honest cops like Cabrera, he gets run over in the street earlier in the narrative. Rangel gets attacked. Calatrava is murdered. But the serial killer walks free because his brother is too powerful.
So we started with Bernardo Blanco's murder, and it turns out he was killed because he stumbled onto this decades-old festering wound of a cover-up. A cover-up the entire power structure was invested in maintaining.
Precisely. His death wasn't just about silencing him in the moment. It was about protecting that original lie from 1978. For Blanco, for Calatrava, for Quiroz Cuarón. Knowing the truth wasn't power, it was a death sentence, or close to it.
The system wasn't trying to solve the crime. It was actively working to preserve the crime, or at least the cover-up of it.
That's the horrifying reality the sources expose. The state machinery deployed to maintain a fiction, even a fiction that protected a child murderer.
It really makes you think about Dr. Quiroz Cuarón's decision to flee, to denounce them publicly rather than sign their political statement and stay quiet.
It's an incredible act of moral courage, right? He refused to be complicit, even when the price was his safety and potentially his career. He wouldn't participate in covering up violence against children just for political expediency.
A profound choice, as you said. It leaves you wondering.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you think about how easily we accept official stories sometimes. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What accepted narratives, what easy answers presented by authority might you be unknowingly complicit in? Just because digging deeper, asking who benefits from the story being told this way is harder. What historical lies are still shaping our present?